Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Can I have a profile?
Yes, sir.
Anil.
Yes, sir.
Anil, can you quickly talk about yourself? Very brief. Okay.
Okay, sir. As you mentioned, my name is Anil Kumar Reddy Aragonda. I have 3 years experience as a manual tester in my previous company in G Solutions, where it took 1.5 years for my training period. I was assigned under a super technician, and where he used to give some test cases every day, and I used to execute and I used to report it to himself only if there are any defects or any deviation. Later of 1.5 year of my training, I was directly involved in a project of banking, and then onwards my career started. Now I want to grow my career as a QA in automation tester, as an automation tester. So to grow in my career, I need to switch the job, and now applied for this role in your company. And I came to know that there are vacancies in it, so I applied for
Good to
this.
know that. Good to know that. So let me set the expectations. Let me
Yes.
clearly explain you the job description. Okay.
Yes.
Probably might have gone through the job description,
Yes.
but let me
Sir.
go through that. Explain you that once again. So we are looking for a manual tester who has at least 2 years of experience in manual testing, and also we have some plans to implement automation as well. Not very soon. Okay?
Yes.
So we're planning to implement using Java, Selenium. Okay, we have some plans on that as well. So having knowledge on Selenium, Java is definitely an added advantage. Okay,
Yes.
so this is briefly about the role. Okay, we are looking for, and it is more of an individual contributor role.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
are you comfortable, Anil?
Yes, sir. I'm very comfortable with
That's
it.
cool. So already have some kind of experience in testing, right?
Yes.
Can you quickly talk about some of the methodologies, SDLC methodologies you have implemented in your career?
Yes, sir. Based on the project requirement, we have done many. We have used on the project nature of the project. So, if our requirements and the feasibilities are for the long term, if the project release must be for the long time, we go for the waterfall model. And later on, for the more clarity on for the client satisfaction, if he needs more effort on it, if we want to put more effort, or the client needs very desired product, so we go for that verification for validation and verification process, like we adopt V model for the small scale projects. But now the market policies are changed, because every product should be the time to the market, and mostly the clients requirements are also frequently changing based on the customers or the real time users who are. So we follow, just now we started an agile, we following the agile methodologies, where in that changes require, so we know our client changes requirements are frequently, and we need to overcome that, we need to react for the changes very quickly. So that's why we are moving on to the agile models.
So good to know that you worked on both
Yes.
waterfall and agile.
Yes.
So which one do you think is the best?
So it is all the models are based on the nature of the project, sir. So we don't say that agile is best or the product. If our requirements are frequently changing, and the products must be to the time to the market, and if the customer requires more change, is the customer requirements are frequently changing, and the based on the market needs, the application must be improved a lot, sir, nowadays. So based on that, agile methodologies are very good. But if our project is related to the long term, and we need to implement those requirements very quickly, so we go for the waterfall models. So it's based on the nature of the project. Every methodology is best in their nature.
So which one are you comfortable with? You worked on both, right? So
Yes, sir.
which one are you comfortable with?
So as a work, as an employee, we are always preferable for the agile, because it sets our dynamicity, sir. Because how much how much capability that an employee can work to can react to the changes. So that is the capability of an employee, which tests the based on the. So agile methodology tests the capability of an employee. So most of the we prefer that, because we every employee likes to face challenges in his career.
So you mean to say agile is more challenging
It's
than
more
waterfall?
challenging, so most of the employees prefer to work on the agile.
I'll come to that question. Why do you think agile is more challenged? And I also want to ask you some of the questions on the challenges you faced
Yes,
recently in the essay. We'll come to that point.
yes,
So before that, can you tell me a Scrum framework? Are you following Scrum?
yes, sir. We
Or
are
can you
following the
tell me the
Scrum.
Scrum framework?
Yes, sir. The Scrum framework mainly consists of three roles, four ceremonies, and two artifacts. So the main roles of the Scrum are product owner, Scrum master, and the development team, and the team, which we mainly call team. And the four ceremonies are sprint planning, sprint review, sprint daily sprint. I mean daily Scrum meetings or stand-up meetings we call sprint review and sprint retrospective. The main artifacts of the Scrum are product backlog and sprint backlog. There is another section which is not included to the Scrum. That is mainly product refinement section meeting. It is most important in the Scrum because every time the requirements are frequently changing. For every implementation of the Scrum, we have such an user stories. For the user stories, we need to refine them because if we have 100 user stories, we can't implement those 100 stories in a single sprint. So we need to refine them every time. We need to refine, and we need to refine those, and we need to extract them for which, for what are the user stories now we are to now which are ready, and we have more clarity to implement in this sprint. So we need to refine every time, every day we.
So good to
So
know that. But what do you do as part of the refinement?
so as the part of refinement, we refine the user stories based on the based on the sprint based on the sprint requirements, and the based on the relative capacities or relativity.
So go to the estimations next.
we,
But
we
what do you do as part of the sprint? So yeah, you told me like you add more clarity to the user stories, right?
yes, sir,
So what do you mean by that?
so the user stories which we have more clarity, we extract them, and we give some user story points to them. So we based on the complexities of that of that stories, we give some user story points, and then based on our team capacity and velocity, we maintain some relativity, and we implement those on the current sprint, and we'll maintain we'll execute them, and we'll release a working software at that.
So good, but just an extension to that, as you spoke about user stories.
Yes,
So okay, so how do you estimate? How do you estimate a user story?
based on the story points,
Mhm.
and more, and story points are given in the Fibonacci series. We follow Fibonacci series. So if the Fibonacci series are like 3, 5, 8, so the based on the complexity of the user stories, if the complexity is more, we give for the higher Fibonacci series points, user story points is the most complexity. So based on the complexity, we decide the user stories,
Okay. Can you
story
include
points.
a user story with 13 story point?
Sir,
Can you include a user story with 13 story point
that
in a
no, sir,
sprint?
it becomes more high severity,
More high
high
complexity.
complexity. So that much complexity we had never seen such a complexity. So mostly we include eight.
Hmm. Okay, good to know that. Uh,
And as you said, so we just only move to the agile methodology. So we never seen that much complexity in our project. So we mostly estimated up to 5 or 8. We never go to 13 user. That much complexity is
how
never
many
seen.
sprints have you completed till date?
So we had completed mostly of 10 sprints.
10 sprints.
Just only.
Is your production went into
Yes,
is your
sir.
application went
Yes,
into
sir.
production?
It's in the production,
Okay.
and now we are implementing a new sprint with some benefits of for the customer, like some new features. We are adding new features, and some bug features also we are including.
Uh, good to know that you are implementing Agile in your project. Okay. Uh, so coming to the defects, like so can you talk about one of the high defects have you posted recently in your project?
So I had posted many of the high defects. The main high defect I found is the in the
Very recently, in the
very
recent
recently.
sprints.
So we started an application. So in that application, we had a like a backlog. We had a backlog for the entries. What are the entries for the fields? So when we are deleting that backlogs, so it is deleted in the user, I mean in the GUI. But when we are refreshing that page, those are again adding to that backlog. So that is the highest.
What is
Yes.
the root cause that we find? What is the root cause?
So this is because some code errors, because some loops are not implemented correctly. When I reported to the in a defect life cycle, and the developer had fixed it because of that. Some loops are not implemented correctly, and the data flow is also not about correct estimations. The data flow to the one model to other model, that is also some error in that data model flow.
Uh, so, what is the difference between priority and a severity?
So priority is based to the business point of view. So what impact that bug or the defect causes to the business point of view. So priority decided on the business point of view, but the severity is based on the complexity of the bug that affects to the application.
Mhm.
So it is to the developer point of view.
Mhm. So, have you ever reported any defect which has high severity and low priority? Let's
High
suppose
severity and
low
low
priority.
priority. Yes, sir. Recently we have a bank in our banking application. So there is a module. So bank decided some interest for the customer. For every 1,000 rupees, they decided 2% interest, 2 rupees interest at the end of the year. But unfortunately at the end of the year, they found that there is 4 rupees. They are crediting 4 rupees for that, because of the some technical reasons they are crediting. But the bank didn't set it a high priority, because for the next sprint it can be fixed very we they give us the business team give us low priority, because it's a high severity for us, because the requirement is 2%, but the some defaulty implementations or some errors in the code, it's about 4 rupees. The bank is automatically crediting 4 rupees. But as it is implementing at the end of the year, we have much time to reduce and to correct that bug. So they had became, they give that low priority, and we have that high priority. So we fixed in that third or second quarter maybe. So it's state quotas to fix in third quarter of that for the following year.
Okay, that's all I have on the manual side. As I told you, we plan to implement even Selenium as well very soon.
Yes.
I hope at least you have some
Yes,
knowledge
I
on
have basic knowledge on Java.
Java and Selenium. Okay, can you tell me some of the OOPS concepts in Java?
Yes, sir. So any programming language can be called can be considered as a OOPS language when they have both six implementations, like a class, object, inheritance, polymorphism, and encapsulation and abstraction. When the languages follow these six rules, we can call them as an object-oriented languages. These are the six main.
Can you just talk briefly
Yes,
about
sir,
this?
I can. So class is a blueprint of the class is, which includes various methods, and methods variables are included in the class. It's a blueprint to the that object, or and object is the physical existence of the class. And inheritance, coming to the inheritance, so any characters which is in the superclass, which are present in the superclass, they are acquired to the subclasses through the extension keyword, that is called inheritance. And we
What
have
is the main advantage of inheritance?
the main advantage of inheritance is code reusability. And we have different types of inheritance, like single inheritance, multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hybrid inheritance, hierarchical inheritance. So we have different types of inheritance. And moving on to the
But
abstraction.
does Java
No,
support?
sir, Java does not support multiple inheritance, but it supports remaining. So for the multiple inheritance, we use interfaces to
We'll get
make
into that
support
interfaces, right?
interfaces.
Okay.
Okay.
So, what are the other OOPS
So
concepts?
abstractions, so hiding our implementations, hiding our internal implementations, and only showing the set of services what we provide. or we can say that hiding our implementation set, providing set of, and abstraction may be implemented through abstract methods and interfaces also by abstract class and interfaces. Encapsulation means securing our data. So through encapsulation we can provide security to our application. And polymorphism means implementing one form in different one method in different forms. So in polymorphism we have two types, like method overloading and method overriding. So in method overriding, if what are the characters acquired from the superclass to the subclass, if the subclass is not satisfied with that those implementations, it can implement their requirements as well.
Will override
They
that.
can override, so they can override those implementations, so
Good,
that
good.
is called overriding.
Okay, good. So have you worked on arrays and collections as well? Because we mostly use collections in Selenium. Do you have
Yes
any
sir, I
idea
have
on
an
that?
idea. So
What is an array?
array is an collection of homogeneous elements,
Hmm.
homogeneous data types, which is fixed in size. An array is a fixed in size.
But I don't want a fixed in size. I
So we
want the
can go
whole.
for the collections object, sir. Like
What is a collection?
collection is a group of elements, but it is growable in size. You
Okay.
can dynamically grow. It is not in arrays. We, if the size is fixed once, it cannot grow or it cannot decrease that. But in collections, it is flexibility. We have flexibility of growing or reducing.
So what are
So
the different in different collections objects you have worked on? Collection
so
classes or
collections,
interfaces you worked
yes
on?
sir. Collections have mainly three interfaces, that are sets, set list, set, and map. So map is not an interface of the collection object. It is a
Okay.
separate class of the collections, not for the collection.
Different. So what is the difference between list and a set?
So list list is the interface of the collection, and set is also an interface of the collection. But in list, duplicates are allowed. And for the and a list has two implementers like array list and linked list, and set has hash set and tree set and many of the implements. But the in tree set duplicates are not allowed. So duplicates
Cachets
are not
duplicates
allowed.
are.
And
Okay, I'll tell you a program.
yes sir,
So I have a string
yes sir,
with duplicate words.
yes,
Okay, but at the end of the day, the duplicate words should be
eliminate,
deleted.
okay sir,
Should be deleted.
yes,
Can you write a program on the board?
yes sir, I will explain it.
So Anil, you are clear with the requirement?
Yes sir.
Yes. Yeah.
So as you said, the requirements are to eliminate the duplicate elements data in the given string. So I will start with the class name, giving some class name and main method. Now I will take a string object with some reference variable, and I will create a string value. So newgen infotech provides better and better placements. This is the string I have taken, sir. Now I need to split this string into the words so that I can run a for loop for this. So string str1 is equals to str dot split. So I need to split at the spaces where I have provided in this. So I will use some space here. So
Is str1 variable or a string or array?
str1 is stored in an array form, sir. Sorry. So now this whole string is splitted into the words and stored in this str variables with this str reference variable. Now I'll take a set operator, sir. Because set operator does not allow the duplicate values, so I'll go with the set operations to perform this action, sir. So set. So as I'm taking the strings, I'll give this as a generic string generic. Set a equals to new has set of string object. Now I run a for loop for each to store to gain these values. So for each loop for string a1 is to str1. So why? Because these values are stored, these string is stored as a words in this str reference variable. I'll get with these, with this string reference a1. I'll run the for loop for these, for each and every word in present in this, sir. So these are stored in this. Now I need to add this to the set. So I'll go with a dot add of a1. So now the set operators perform their actions taking each and every word, and they does not take the duplicate words for that. So I need to print this a, because this is the set operator and I had taken whole words in this way. I will print this system.out.println of a. So now I'll close the main method and I'll close the class. So the now the output will be, so Newgen Infotech. So as Infotech is already repeated and the set does not allow the duplicates, it go for the provide better, and so and the better also repeated and the set does not allow the duplicates, it go for the placements. This is the exact output.
So set display in the same order
No sir, it will display in the
because
serial,
set does not
doesn't
does
set
not
display in the bracket, angular bracket order.
but order is not preserved in set.
Yes sir,
The words
order
can come in any
come
order.
in any order, but I
Good,
had written this.
good done it. Okay. Can you stay there?
Yes sir.
I have a few more questions around your programming knowledge.
Yes sir.
Uh, how comfortable are you with Selenium? Is it
Yes sir, I'm
comfortable?
comfortable with
Okay.
Selenium. Okay.
Okay. Are you comfortable with XPath and all
Ah
that
yes
stuff?
sir, I know that.
Okay.
I can
Just
do.
can you write a small program which prints, suppose, all the links on the Google page?
So your requirement is to print what are the elements present in the Google,
Not
or
all the
all the
elements,
links?
at least links.
Links. Okay sir. So when we are working the Selenium and we need to automate, so we need to automate the Chrome driver. So we need to set the path and we
Okay,
go
that's
for the
all
date.
fine. Forgot
We
about
will
all
get
that
in the
stuff. Write a
URL
direct
and
program on that.
yes sir. So when we are finding the elements, we use to find elements methods. So find elements and we store that find elements in a web element as a web element. So those are the web elements we'll store in a variables in the list form, sir. So I'll take list operators. So list, those are the web elements. I'll store them in elements is equals to, and we set the driver properties in earlier driver dot find elements. So these elements return all the elements present on that link where we are selecting elements by dot tag name. It is a tag name for some id. What are the, for the main Google header page where the Google is present,
The
and
link has
email
a tag
link.
name of what?
Link has a tag name as a. I had personally, uh, I have personally run this code with my experience, so, in my training. So I had no knowledge on that. So I remembered it as a A. So here we have Gmail, some uh, set up some operations links here. So those will be printed with the find elements. So now I run a for each loop for finding these elements. So for web elements, those are the web elements. Elements 1 is to elements, those are the elements which are stored in this elements page. So list, for the list also
Why
we don't.
semicolon at the end?
So list allows duplicate values and store the multiple, and insertion order also not preserved, so we will get the random process. like
List interest not
it's not reserved.
reserved.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, thank you for correcting. I'll print the elements one object. So system.out.println of elements. Now this retrieves. I'll close the
But
bracket.
my question is, I want the text of that element.
So I'll get with elements got get text method. Text method. So with this text method, we will get the name of that elements present in the web page.
Thank you. Thank you. So, I'm my last question. Just let's
Can
switch back to yeah.
can I repeat, sir?
I'm okay with that. Let's switch back to functional testing. I want
Yes,
to
sir.
test you on like, can you take the piece like example?
Yes,
Uh, I want to open an fixed deposit
fixed
account.
deposit.
Okay.
So
I'll tell you the piece which I need to do.
yes,
Fixed deposit. Your account name, account number, is the account
account
number.
number.
So it should
Is
be auto populated
yes,
because
some auto
you are
populate.
doing this from your net banking.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it is auto populated.
Yes, some
And name, take name, and it should also be auto
auto
populated.
populate.
And your branch details, it should be auto populated. Branch details should be auto populated. And next is wait, I'll tell you. Next is fixed deposit amount. Fixed deposit, amount. Okay. It is an edit field, but it accepts only from 5,000 to 5 lakhs. 5,000 to 5 lakhs. Clear?
Yes, sir.
And tenure. There is one
Tenure.
more field called tenure.
Yes, sir.
And years should be like, and it should take 1 to 12. Sorry, 1 to 20.
1 to 20 years.
And there is one more field after that. One more field. No, in the same.
In the same
Like,
field. Yes, sir.
months. That is 0 to 1 to 12. Sorry, not
1 to 11 months.
Yeah, 1 to 11. 1 to
11 months.
wait, I'll tell you the next field. Let me think. And based on this, your rate of interest will be calculated ROI,
Yes, sir.
and it is again auto populated.
Based on these
Auto
fields.
populated.
Based on these fields. Okay, sir.
And based on this, your maturity amount.
Yes.
Maturity amount. Maturity amount is also calculated based on this. It is also auto populated.
Yes.
And if you are interested, you can click on submit.
Yes.
There is submit button. If you are interested, you can submit. If you are not interested, you can cancel it. Screen closes. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is a simple, very simple form. Okay?
Yes, sir. Can you give me a more clarity on this? Is this a list or other entry or data taken directly?
Tenure is a edit field. Once is edit.
Edit
Everything
field.
is
So
edit
edit field. So this is not done a list of.
Okay.
Okay,
But
sir.
I
Thank you for.
let me complete this. Okay. I want you to do. I want you to tell
Yes.
how do you perform. How do you perform the testing for this? What are the different things you test on this form?
Yes, sir. So as you tell, I am entering to the new through the net banking. So these I'll check for these elements, these fields which are auto populated, or that are given details are exactly matching to the my details, or if there is any.
Okay, that's fine.
And I will check this. I will check with this BVA and ECP. So
Why
so
ECP?
as you
Why
said that
ECP?
there is a range, sir. So we have range and BVA. I will check with the BVA, sir, because it has some range. So it does not accept below 5,000 and above it should not accept 5 lakhs. So that is the requirement. So I will go with the BVA and I check with those fields with
What
the.
is BVA?
It's a boundary value analysis, sir. So because the most of the errors came in that field, so I'll check with the if this deposit is accepting below the 4, I mean I check for the 499, or it is accepting 5 lakhs with some another a rupee, or so I'll check this. So I'll go with BBA. And we don't need ECP here, sir, because there is no class of partitions. So I'll go with the BBA. And here also I'll go with the BBA whether, and mainly I check for these edit fields are whether we are enabled or disabled in the whether these are enabled, and is there, and the entering data is correctly entered or not, and whether the cursor is moving correctly or not. If there is any deviations, or if the customer is going beyond the ranges, I'll check the error handlings, whether that excepts that errors are I mean that error messages are correctly displayed, because those are the most important. So if they is going, suppose he is going for it some 499, the error should be the please enter up to, the minimum fixed deposit is 5,000.
That's
Okay.
right. Okay. I understand that error
Yes, sir.
handling and
Handler handling, and
what
so
else?
okay, sir. Now on tenure also I go with BBA. Now I'll calculate whether this, based on these fields, whether this ROI is returning correctly exactly or not. If there is any deviation, if it is not returning the exact one or not. And I'll also check where this maturity amount based on these fields, whether it is returning exactly or not, and based on the addition and some requirements where we can find in functional testings and additional operators and more than. And mainly we check whether on the opening of the site, I'll check whether the submit button is in enable state or disable state. And if and I always check for the cancel state is cancel button is always in enable state, because if we cancel this, if we don't need this fixed deposit to be applied, the cancel button should be enabled at any time. And if we click on the cancel button, we should go for the home page. So I'll mainly go for those applications.
Thanks, Bruce. Interesting. Okay, that's all from my side. Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Okay.
So I had read the company policies and it is very good. And these companies provide a better placements and better platform for the new candidates like me. So I hope it will be helpful for the. I'll be a part of company growth and developing my skills. It's a very good
Thanks.
thing.
Nice talking to you.